The U.S. stock market is the most overvalued it has been in modern history. Not expensive, not a little frothy, the most overvalued in modern history. So I'm going to ask you the question your financial advisor probably won't. When this market finally cracks, will your savings survive it? Now, I'm a dealer. I move physical gold and silver every single day for people who built real money the hard way. I'm going to show you exactly how I protect what I've built with hard assets, and just as important, where the safe haven trade can burn you if you get it wrong. Because most of what you've been told about gold and silver in a crash is half true, and the half they leave out is the half that ends up costing you. Now, I've worked on Wall Street for many years, so I understand how an advisor thinks, and I also understand how a bullion dealer thinks, and I'm going to break it down for you. Now, before we go a step further, I put every chart, every number, and every level you're about to hear into a multi-page brief. It's the first link in the description of this video, and it is free. Download it now and follow along, because the data in it is the kind of thing institutions run for themselves and rarely hand to people like you and me. Now, I'm Eric with Summit Metals. We do the work institutions do for themselves in a way people like you and me can actually use. And this week in particular, we're going to drive that home. So let's start with the claim, because I don't want you to take it on faith. There are 4 gauges professionals, institutional professionals, actually watch. And right now, all 4 are flashing the same warning. The first is the Buffett indicator, the total value of U.S. stocks divided by the size of the entire economy. Warren Buffett once called it probably the best single measure of where valuations stand. He said a reading around 75 to 90% is reasonable, and that over 120% means you're playing with fire. As of June of 2026, it's sitting around 234%. That's roughly 42% above its own long-term average, and it is the second highest reading ever recorded, beaten only by the quarter right before it. Now read that back. We are at the second most expensive moment in the history of American markets. Second, the Shiller-Cape ratio, price divided by 10 years of inflation-adjusted earnings, so one good year can't flatten the number. It's about 40 right now. In 155 years of data going back to 1871, the Cape has only been above 40 twice. The other time was December of 1999, when it hit 44, weeks before the dot-com bubble blew up the market. Third, leverage, margin debt. Money investors borrow against their portfolios to buy even more stock. Just hit a record $1.42 trillion in May of 2026. That's up almost 54% in a single year. Borrowed money is the accelerant. It pushes prices up faster on the way in, and it forces selling faster, much faster, on the way out. And fourth is concentration. The 10 biggest companies now make up around 36% of the entire S&P 500. That's 10 of 500 companies. Back in 2015, the top 10 were about 19%. So when you buy the index today, you're not buying 500 diversified companies. You're making a giant bet on a tiny, tiny handful of names. If a few of them stumble, they drag the whole index down right with them. Now, here's the honest part, and I need you to hear it because it's where most of these videos lie to you. None of these are timing tools. The Buffett indicator is a valuation gauge, not a calendar. Expensive markets can get more expensive. They did in 1998 and 1999, and people who bet against them got carried out. So I'm not telling you a crash is coming next month. No one can tell you exactly when. I'm telling you the risk is loaded, the way it was at a small number of moments in the last century. And that brings us to the only question that actually matters for your money. What these moments have done to savers afterward, and what actually, in the end, protected them. Here's what tends to happen from valuations like these. After the December 1999 CAPE reading, the S&P 500 fell about 49% top to bottom, and the NASDAQ fell about 78%, a loss that took nearly 15 years to fully recover. In 2008, the S&P fell about 57%. Even the milder 2022 sell-off, which started from a CAPE near 38, took 25% off the index. And the research is very consistent. When the CAPE has been this high, the next 10 years of stock returns have been very weak, near zero, sometimes negative after inflation. That's not a prediction, that is the base rate. Now, so where do gold and silver fit, and where do they not? Let me give you the version a dealer and former Wall Street veteran sees, not the bumper sticker. In 2008, gold did not save you on day one. When Lehman Brothers failed, gold fell from about $1,000 to $700, roughly a 30% drop. Why? In a true panic, people sell what they can, not what they want to raise cash and cover for margin calls. Gold is so liquid, so gold gets sold first. But here's the part that matters. Gold finished 2008 essentially flat for the year while stocks were cut in half. And by 2011, it was over $1,900. It did its job over the cycle, but not in the first week. Silver is the same story with the volume turned up. In 2008, it fell from around $21 to about $9, more than cut in half. In the COVID crash of March of 2020, silver dropped about 40% in just a matter of weeks, while gold fell about 15%. If you can't stomach that, you need to know it before you buy and not after. But look what came next. After 2008, silver ran from $9 to almost $49 by 2011. After March of 2020, it doubled to over $28 by that August. Silver falls harder in the panic and recovers harder coming out of it. That's not a flaw, it's the nature of the asset. So let me say the thing the hype channels won't. Gold is the cleaner insurance. It's your portfolio's fire extinguisher. Silver is the higher octane play, more upside, but bigger drawdowns, and it can fall in the first scramble before it turns. Anyone who tells you silver is a clean one-way hedge is selling you a story. I'm a dealer, and I'd rather you trust the next thing I say than the easy thing or something that puts $1 in my pocket for the wrong reason. So where are we today? As I'm recording this, the gold and silver market have been very volatile. Gold pierced through $4,000. Silver went all the way down into the 56 range or so. The gold to silver ratio is sitting in the low 60s. Those are the numbers in the brief below, and they're the starting line for the moves I want you to think about this week. So here is what actually a smart saver does. Not buy gold, but specific moves you can make before the time runs out. Move number one, know your real exposure. This weekend, pull up your 401k, your IRA, and your brokerage statements, and add up what percentage is actually in stocks. Don't forget your target date fund. Those are mostly equities, and plenty of people who think they're balanced are actually 80 to 90% exposed to the most concentrated index in history. You can't manage a risk you haven't measured. So do it now. Understand what you own. Move number two, decide on an insurance allocation, not an all-in bet. I'm not telling you to sell your stocks and pile into gold and silver. That isn't protection. That's a different gamble. The wealth preservation thinkers I work with typically hold a slice. Many land somewhere between 5 and 15% of their assets as portfolio insurance. The whole point of insurance is that you own it before you need it. So pick a target percentage that lets you sleep and write it down this week. Create your plan. Now get your gold to silver split right for your own stomach. If your job is to protect what you've built and you don't want to watch a 40% swing, wait toward gold. If you can handle the volatility and you want that bigger recovery potential, that's where silver earns its place. Look at that gold to silver ratio in the brief and decide deliberately. Don't let a salesperson decide it for you. And number 4, sort out how you actually hold it. Physical metal you control is a different animal from a paper like ETF claim. This week, settle 3 things. Allocated versus unallocated storage. Whether you keep some at home and some in a depository, and whether a metals IRA makes sense for your retirement dollars. Those are structural decisions. Make them on purpose now, not in a panic after the market has already broken. Now let me bring this home. I can't tell you the day this market turns. No one can. And anyone who claims to is guessing. What I can tell you is that the gauges are stretched to levels we've seen only a couple of times in a century, and that the people who came through those moments with their savings intact own something that didn't depend on the stock market staying expensive forever. Here's where I personally stand, and I'll put a number on it because you deserve one. Our target for gold, as we've mentioned in prior videos, remains at 5,500 and for silver at 120. That's a view, it's not a promise. I could be wrong on the number and on the timing, but understand the logic. Even if I'm off on the exact figure or date, the reason to own insurance does not change. You don't buy a fire extinguisher because you're sure of the date of the fire. You buy it because the cost of being wrong without one is everything you've built. Now, if this was useful, the full multi-page brief, as I mentioned, is linked below. Every chart, every level, and this week's premiums, and it's free. And when you're ready to actually put this into practice, to buy, to sell, to vault your metal, or to set up a precious metals IRA, that's the work we do every day at Summit Metals. Come talk to us. We'll quote it to you straight. The most expensive market in history isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to own something it can't take down with it long term. The key is that you act. Act now without delay. Do it for the right reason, not as a reaction to hype or fear. A quick reminder now before we finish up. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Do your own research and consult a professional before making any financial decision. I'm Eric with Summit Metals. I've enjoyed talking to you today about something I'm very passionate about, something I'm very worried about as I look at the stock market. And I'm excited to see you in the next video and along this path as we see what happens in these incredibly changing markets. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Eric with Summit Metals, and happy stacking.